Greetings, and welcome to another edition of I Pledge the Grind podcast. I'm your host, Ina Esco, and this podcast is all about how people are grinding it out in this pandemic. Today, I have with me two gentlemen, two 5%ers that are definitely staying on the grind while in this pandemic. I have with me True Light and Black Mind with Black Renaissance. What's up, fellas? How y'all doing this morning?
Peace. We good. We
Hey,
good. We good.
doing well. Doing
How
well.
you doing?
Y'all good. You know,
Yeah. How you doing?
I'm wonderful this morning. You know, we were just talking before the pod started about, these kids going back to school, how this entire pandemic is affecting our lives. I was just on, your YouTube series, Shifting the Paradigm, and I had a great time. I want to just say thank you guys for inviting me because it's kind of different being on the other side of the mic, as I told you, but I appreciate you fellas so much. And today what we're going to talk about is, March 12th. That's like a pivotal date for a lot of us because that's the date really, the entire world changed. That's when, things start shutting down all over the place. And I know you guys had so many events lined up going on. What happened for you guys on March 12th? Like what changed in your world?
You want to go or you want me to take it, bro?
Man, it don't matter, man. I could briefly start about it, and then you go ahead and do your thing, my brother. But man, we had to readjust. We had to readjust. We had to, reevaluate, our projected plan for the year. And we had to just really take a step back and take it all in and readjust, not just, in our business, but our personal lives as well. We had to just kind of reevaluate, resources. What's important. You know what I'm saying? I think that date put a lot of things into perspective.
Right.
What about you, True Love?
I agree. We definitely had to, as my brother said, take a step back and just readjust. A lot to do with the show, Memphis Hip Hop Fashion Mixer, which is our main event that we host. We had to do a lot of reaching out to our participants, a lot of communication back and forth with people that are on different schedules. Like I said, money had been spent already.
Mm-hmm.
So we definitely had to take that into account that, okay, we've got money invested in the actual establishment, in artists performing or vendors that have already paid vendor fees, or it's really all based on communication.
Right.
Communication is key in this pandemic, and to readjust and to have to take a step back and just look at things from, a standpoint of saying, okay, how do we readjust for the betterment or the forward progression of what we have going on while everyone is shutting down.
Okay,
So,
gotcha.
yeah,
Wow.
it just took a lot of sitting down with me and my brother by ourselves,
Yeah.
just talking.
Got to plan it out. Now, for those that
Mm-hmm.
don't know, I want you to tell the I Pledge the Grind audience about Black Renaissance and what you guys represent. Tell everybody about what you guys do actually.
All right, go ahead, my brother.
Well, we're a combination of things. Primarily we're a company that seeks to highlight and celebrate, Black culture in America. Okay. We looking to establish ourselves as an institution, an independent institution that keeps that culture preserved and make sure people, acknowledge it and are aware of it. One of the things that we do in Black Renaissance is, like my brother stated, was the Memphis Hip Hop Fashion Mixer, where it's a show where we highlight Black brands and Black designers coming out right now in the city of Memphis. So it's a fashion show, but it also has a hip hop element where we talk and we have underground, or not necessarily underground, but just local artists in the city and surrounding areas. Because this year we was going to have a sister by the name of Alexis Ray Parker that's coming out of Arkansas. She cold, and
yeah, she's dope.
we had the jigging element you know, because that's a
Yeah.
unique, you know, dance style, you know, that's being celebrated and acknowledged worldwide, globally, you know, thanks to, you know, the people who do that here. And, you know, so it was just a dope show, you know, that was being held at the Hattie Lou Theater, you
Mm-hmm.
know,
Right
so
on.
exactly,
Yes.
you know, so we really trying to refocus people's attention to looking, particularly Black people, to looking at ourselves to be able to sustain ourselves and do for ourselves.
Yeah.
And the hip hop show was just one element, one aspect of what we do. We got some other things working, but that was one thing that we was putting out there first. You know.
Right. And why did you
Yeah.
guys choose to create a show to highlight Black culture in Memphis? Why did you choose to do that?
Well, for me personally, we know several people that create clothes, that create music, and they are so talented. Why not put it on a platform? Why not highlight it? Why not promote it and get it out and relay it and convey it to other people to see, hey man, I'm stepping up in the spot, the party or the club or the bar, whatever. I got sound culture on. I'm the most unique person in the room.
Mm-hmm.
While everybody else wearing polo, you know, they might
Looking
have
like
Gucci.
everybody else, huh? Everybody
Yeah,
else looking like everybody else.
right. And that's not, and it's not to downplay or degrade or, you know, demean anyone else that chooses to spend their money how they spend it. But, you know, I'm the most unique person in the room when I wear, you know, a hat that's from my brother,
Mm-hmm.
or a jacket or a coat or a shirt from a brand that's made right here in the city of Memphis.
Yes.
And it feels good. It's a different feeling,
Right. It's a sense of
you
pride
know.
with it, right?
Yeah, yes, definitely.
Right, right. Now, when COVID hit, I know you guys, like you talked about, had to make some adjustments, and you guys have shifted into a YouTube series that I was a guest
Yes.
on called Shifting the Paradigm. I want you guys to talk about shifting the paradigm and, what did you go through while trying to create a new platform in this pandemic?
And
Wow.
you know, shoot. One thing for sure, this particular venture has taught us, man, the importance of uh, you know, perseverance, you know, and if, you
Hmm.
know, of course we want to reach out and we like to work with our people, you know what I'm saying, who may have a different skill set that we need, that we may not be, you know, knowledgeable on, you know, however, but
Hmm.
we've learned in this series that, man, we got to pick up certain tasks and trades on our own. Like my brother then picked up the videography part of it, you
Yes.
know, 'cause we
Hmm.
were hiring a videographer. Shout out to Skips Pro, man. We wish you you know, we're sending you healing,
Yeah.
you know, healing vibes. He was in a bad accident. So
Yeah.
he's trying to, you know, recover from that, you know. But since then we've had to just pick up that task. You know, my brother's been doing an exceptional job at learning, you know, how to record, how to edit, you know, and shoot. That's one thing for sure, God. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if you want
Yeah.
to add on
Well,
to it.
yeah, it's definitely it's a bad feeling to be at the mercy of someone else's arrival or their
Wow.
participation, or yeah, you know, if we
Yeah,
waiting on the person that's gonna produce and record, and we sitting there, everybody else is in place, you know. So that was one of the main key focuses or focal points that we had, was to be more self-sustaining, more efficient in the actual process of what we wanted to do, how
Right.
to record, how to edit, you know, how to just put things into place to where, okay, well, if they don't show up for whatever reason, may not have been their fault, but the show gonna go on.
Right,
right.
right. And
Mm-hmm.
you know what, in this pandemic, for those that persevere, like you just mentioned, what you'll find is like you're probably really good at this new skill you're picking up. Like
Yep.
true, like you doing your thing on the editing now. Hold on now. Now you picked up quick and
I
you
appreciate it. I
with it.
appreciate it.
Yes, but
Thank you.
that's what we're realizing. Like we have all of these skills and gifts that we didn't even know we
Yep.
had, right?
Yep.
Right.
And they're
Yep.
just
Right.
Yep.
blossoming in a pandemic.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Wow.
Yep.
So I want you guys to tell me, what's the biggest lesson that you guys have learned since the impact of COVID-19?
man, the importance of your network. You know, your network, your network is what's keep you connected and keep you strong when everything else around you is collapsing. You
Yes.
know, and the first network you got to have is your own. You know, your own confidence and self-worth and self-knowledge. You know, you got to be able to know what your own skill sets are. Like since the pandemic, I've learned how to cut me and my son's hair.
Oh,
I've learned how to grow some food. I've
yes.
learned how to I put up a fence, you know, and that's just at the house. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
But with my brother, you know, man, it like I said earlier, it puts things into perspective. Your network, you know, you start realizing, you know, shoot, who's important because you're gonna reach out to them people and they're gonna reach out to
Mm-hmm.
you. You know, so um the importance of your network, you know what I'm saying? That's one of the big lessons that I've learned. Which again, you know, Black Renaissance is basically definitely pushing for uh us, our people, man, to just to get it together, you know, pull
Yeah.
our resources together, get it together,
That's
and
right.
just you know, be great. You
Right.
know?
What's the biggest lesson you've learned, True Light?
Man, I was gonna piggyback exactly off what he said,
Yes.
utilizing our resources, pooling them, bringing them together, and putting them out as a collective,
Right.
coming together and actually, like I said, he learned to grow food. Like I said, I picked these tomatoes from my garden this morning.
Oh, they look fresh
You
now.
know, yes, yes. So in
Uh,
this pandemic, like I said, you know, I've learned to grow food as well. You know, like I said, picking up a trade or a skill set like video recording and editing. All of that is coming out of us in the midst of something that is not of our control.
Right.
You know,
Right.
I'm in South Haven, Mississippi, where they just reinstated the mask ordinance.
Why
So
did they stop it? I'm out here in
I,
DeSoto
I,
County too. It don't make no sense. What's wrong with our governor? What kind of
I
governor
have no idea.
we
I
got?
have no idea. I have no idea. You know, so I would say utilization of our resources and not being afraid to venture into a different area,
Yeah.
not being afraid to try different things, not being afraid to say, "Hey, I'm gonna step out on the ledge and do it."
Right, right. And you know what? Right now, it just seems like in this pandemic that you guys talking about tapping into your resources. We have so many resources that we haven't tapped into that we didn't even realize we had. Since we've been kind of enclosed in our homes and we just had time to think and sit down and be like, hey, I can hit up so and so, you know, to collaborate on this. I can hit up so and so to
Yes,
collaborate on that. So it's really like a breath of fresh air to have a break and just put a plan together and execute. So I totally feel what you guys are saying. And you guys are 5%ers. And that's a conversation that we all discussed when we had shot Shifting the Paradigm. I want you guys to talk a little bit about your involvement as a 5%er. What is it and what is the goal?
mm,
peace, God, peace, God. I'm gonna let my
okay,
brother take the lead on this, being
Yeah.
my enlightener,
Come on, Black
being my enlightener. Yeah,
Enlighten
man,
us.
okay. So a 5%er comes from the teachings of Elijah Muhammad, where he states that uh, out of 100% of the population, 85% of those people are slaves to a degree, um, and mainly from just being ignorant, you know, or not knowing certain things, right? Not being taught certain things, not being privy to certain resources and information, and they're made this way by a small collective, you know, group of people, you know, who benefit from those people not knowing. You know, they're referred to as the 10%, right?
mm-hmm.
And they, you know, they come with different titles, right? But then you have the remaining 5% who are the freedom fighters, if you will, the people who, you know, do not believe or advocate the teachings of the 10%, and they take it upon themselves to teach their fellow man, regardless of, you know, race or color or anything like that, teach them, you know, these things that are hidden from them, you know,
Mm-hmm.
educate them, you know what I'm saying, bring them to light, you know, so 5% in short is that person. Now, the goal is to do just that, you know, to educate the 85%, you know, particularly, you know, when it was started back in the 60s to educate, you know, the inner city youth, you know, the ghetto children, if you will, you know, the man who started our nation, you know, he's born Clarence Smith, but we refer to him as Allah or the father, you know, he took it upon himself to start teaching the ghetto youth in Harlem, New York, right, in the 60s. And so that was the task that was passed on through generations, you know, to make sure that we get out there and we educate these children, you know, let them know that, you know, they're great, that they're beautiful, that they're intelligent, that they're strong, that they matter,
Yes.
you know,
Yes.
and be a father and a mother to them, you know, because a lot of those children don't have fathers and mothers. Well, they may have parents, but they don't have a person that can really educate them and properly. You know, the parents do what they can, you know what I'm saying, in those situations, you know, but that's why we take it upon ourselves to do a little bit more.
Right. And you know, in the Memphis community, we talked about the percentage of 5%ers is extremely small. So True Light, can you
Right.
add some knowledge to that? Why is that?
Well, because from my own experience, it's not easy.
Yeah.
This is not something that you can just say, I am, and not show and prove that.
Right.
You know, if you say you're a 5%er, you're gonna have to show and prove that you are what you say you are, because we study lessons, we carry ourselves on a system of supreme mathematics. Like we were building earlier before we started recording, and my brother, we were talking about today's supreme mathematics, which is a system of numbers that we correlate to the date. Like today is the 20th, so you have 2 and 0. 2 represents wisdom, the 0 represents the cipher.
Mm.
So my brother would say, hey, how you see today supreme mathematics, God? Peace, God. I would go into how I see today, how I see wisdom,
Mm.
how I see cipher. You know, my understanding of it. You know, and I got to be able to break it down to a child where a child can understand it.
Mm.
Right.
You know,
Wow, it's deep.
Yeah. We
yeah,
just encourage
yeah.
critical thinking because, you know,
That's it.
85% would,
That's it.
you know, just to look into certain matters, you know, instead of taking things on face value, you
Right,
know,
right.
it's always more to life.
It sure is. And you know what, with the impact of social media, it's a lot of non-critical thinking going on.
Man, what, for real.
Say people people are trusting a meme before they trust in facts.
Okay,
and,
you said something.
and
You said something right there. Wow.
hmm,
Well, you know what? I just want to thank you guys for enlightening, you know, the audience for I Pledge to Grind on what a 5%er is. You know, maybe there's someone out there that wants to learn more about it as well. And I'm sure
Peace.
someone out there would love to be a guest on your YouTube series, Shifting the Paradigm. So I want to thank you, Black Mind and True Light, for being my guest today on I
Thank
Pledge to
you.
fine.
Grind. I know you brothers are going to keep on moving in this pandemic. And I want you all to let everybody know how they can keep up with all of the events you have going on, all the projects while we're still in this pandemic. Let them know.
Oh, well, right
Okay.
now, you can definitely follow us on Instagram on Black Renaissance. Uh, you can also follow us on Facebook, Black Renaissance.
Yep.
All
Yep.
right.
Or YouTube series as well. Type it in, Black Renaissance, you
Shifting the
know.
Black Renaissance, shifting the paradigm.
Yep.
Okay. So you got the YouTube, you got all the social media handles, Black Renaissance, right?
Yep.
Give them the social media handle, girl.
It's a _Black_Renaissance.
Bam.
Mm-hmm.
_Black_Renaissance. That's Instagram.
All
Yep.
right.
And just, you know, just get at us.
Well, thank you all so much for joining me today. I wish you all the best of luck and, you know, on your journey. I hope that you guys continue to prosper and, you know, just inform people about your mission and what you're trying to do, what you're trying to instill in these kids. I think it's amazing. And just keep up the good work, fellas. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. You too, Amy.
Thank you for
We
having us
appreciate
on.
you.
Yes,
Definitely appreciate you, Em.
Yeah, for sure.
always, always.